Hi guys, Happy New Year! My name is Tina and I'm the content manager at Quest Portal. And this is just a little video to tell you about what we've added to the platform in the last couple of weeks. We actually have now 2 new SRDs, Fate Core and Into the Odd. And we also added Blades in the Dark a couple of weeks ago. So I just wanted to kind of go through that with you in this video, maybe give you a couple of links that you might be interested in. And, this is a bit of a long video, but just check the timings down below and you can kind of click around to see the things that you might be mostly interested in. If you do any feedback for us or if you want to make any comments or give us any ideas, then just talk to us on Discord. We love to chat or, comment down below. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to hearing from you. But now let's just go and dive in. And I'm going to tell you about all the things that we have been doing. Here we are at Quest Portal. What has happened this week is that we have added 2 new SRDs to our library. At the moment, we have Call of Cthulhu Basic Rule Set, we have the 5e SRD, we have Forge in the Dark, which is Blades in the Dark SRD, Mark of the Odd SRD, and Fate Core SRD. Perhaps you know all of them. Perhaps there's some in there that you might not know, so I'm just going to give you a quick little run through about them. I have a couple of links up here. You might see that kind of link into these 2 systems. Tell you a little bit about Evil Hat, Randy, that made some really cool websites that you might be interested in. Tell you about Into the Odd, Bastionaland creator, and Mausritter, which is one of my favorite systems. So that's going to be the update today. We're going to try to make it short and sweet, but hopefully something fun for you. There is also all this information here in the changelog on our website if you just want to check that out. Have some links here that you might find interested. And yeah. Okay, maybe first of all, why did we choose these SRDs to be the first ones in the library? And really the reason is that these are all really good for theater of the mind gameplay. And at the moment, we're still working on features on Quest Portal. Maybe games are a little bit more tactical heavy. It's a little bit harder to play them on Quest Portal, but it's changing quickly. So I'm excited to give you more updates soon. These are kind of very much aligned with Theater of the Mind. And obviously Call of Cthulhu, what we support really well here, is a Theater of the Mind type of game. Fate, Mark of the Odd, and Forged in the Dark are all very cool. Mark of the Odd is probably the smallest. But all of these are open and free for everyone to read. They sit in the library, and I'm just going to show you that. So, for example, Forge in the Dark, it's here in the library, basic rules. What you can do in the library is obviously have a very quick search. So everybody on your table can have this, and you too, if you are game mastering. It's also handy that if you have a term that you can kind of like or favorite here, and then it stays up here. So for example, if you are maybe playing a certain class or something like that, it can just stick up here and you should be pretty quick to find information. If you are paying for Quest Portal, you can have the assistant that kind of talks to you in these systems. But if you are just on the free version, you can still very much use the library and get to these SRDs easily. Let me see. Where should we start? We will actually be doing also videos about these systems in a little bit more detailed. The 5e one is coming up soon. And then we will probably be talking about Fate next. I'm very excited about Fate. And we've actually put in some dice. So we have Fate dice, or I guess you would call them fudge dice. But I'll tell you about that in a minute. Forged in the Dark is an interesting system. I have not actually played it. I've only read the book and I've booked the game. So I'm excited. But it is a pretty dark world. So you can see here, it's a tabletop role-playing game about a crew of daring scoundrels seeking their fortune on hunter streets of an industrial fantasy city. Blades in the Dark was written by John Harper, and it's actually published by Evil Hat. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about that company in a minute. But overall, it's a really interesting game that I think you should check out. So one thing I do know about Blades in the Dark that I am interested in is that it has a kind of system of progress clocks. So if there's a partial success or a missed roll, you can fill in segments of the clocks. So there are a couple of different ones. I believe there are 3 different ones. And these clocks can represent different obstacles or things. For example, one I think they talk about is, for example, a riot. When does the tension come to a point where there's a riot somewhere? I quite like these ideas of clocks. I actually really like a game that's called Shiver. And that kind of has a doom clock that runs for the whole table. So when every player makes a fumble, the clock will start going down and things will start happening. This is a very different type of game, but I just wanted to mention it because I think it's very fun for one-shots or very short, maybe three session stories. But anyway, so yeah, definitely have a look at Blades and Tar. I'm very excited to play it and try it out. But I'm going to tell you a little bit about the other SRDs too. Okay, let's see. Let me just tell you a little bit about Into the Odd. Then I will go on to talking about Fate. And then I will tell you about Evil Hat. When I talk about Fate, I'm going to show you the assistant. There is an assistant for Forged in the Dark, Mark of the Odd, and Fate, so you can use it. But I just want to show you how it works with Fate. Mark of the Odd is the SRD for Into the Odd. I am a huge fan, so I really love that this is in here. Mark of the Odd is written by Chris McDowall. That is the original creator of Into the Odd. And you can see here on their website, Bastionaland, you can get all the types of updates about what they're creating. Electric Bastionaland was the first book which kind of expanded on the system of Into the Odd. And there is actually a Kickstarter that just finished for Mythic Bastionaland, but I believe you can still order from it. I am very excited about getting my book in the post. It's one of the ones I backed this year. Yeah. So Into the Odd is a pretty light system. You can see here making a character is pretty easy. It's a dice pool system of D6s, and you also use a D20. You can see here there's like a little bit about equipment and kind of expenses in the world. You can see here, for example, hiring a bird, how much that costs. And this is actually such a fun system to use for example, one-page dungeons. Maybe you want to create something yourself. And there's some really cool third-party also resources and people that made some cool stuff up from the Mark of the Odd, the SRD. One of the things actually that I love to play is Mausritter, and it's based on Into the Odd. It's published by Losing Games, and Isaac Williams created the game. You can get the game in a digital edition. I do think it's out of stock from Games Omniverse, which is also a site you should check out if you really like indie games and kind of old school games. But you can get the digital version, and what is really lovely is that this website is so kind of community friendly. You have a lot of things you can print out. And also there are some third-party resources, actually down here, I believe. Here we go, third-party adventures and resources that you can check out. And these are like things that people have been creating. Super cool stuff, just such a cool community. And I recommend that you check out also the Discord community for this. What I did want to show you, and one of my favorite things about Mausritter, is their inventory system. So this is their character sheet here. You can see that you have these little slots. That's where you put your items on. So here you have your main paw, off paw, and the body. And for example, if you do have armor that goes over these two slots, you can only hold one item in your paw. Could be a needle or something that you might want to attack with. Or actually, it could be a torch, because mice do not see very well in the dark in this game. And you really have to choose what you're going to be carrying and things like that. And a lot of the adventures that have been written, they kind of give you conditions, maybe like sickness or disease, and they take up these slots. So it's a really fun system. And it's actually something that we are playing here in Quest Portal online, because it's very much a theater of the mind kind of game. So it works really well. I should stop talking about Mausritter now. I could talk about it all day because I absolutely love this game. So definitely recommend it. Check out Mausritter. Okay. But Into the Odd, for example, then, is a really cool thing. If you might be hoping to create your own little game, I would say it's not very daunting. And so it's a good start to start maybe writing something on your own. Okay. So that is that. Now, okay, I believe I was going to tell you about Evil Hat before I told you about Fate. So let's do that. Evil Hat. Evil Hat is a super cool publishing company that publishes a lot of really interesting game system and books. And these systems are really friendly for theater of the mind play. As you can see here, Blades in the Dark is in the front, written by John Harper. Another game that I wanted to actually mention, written by John Harper and Sean Nittner, is Agon. I actually haven't read it, but it's on my nightstand. And this is my New Year's present to myself. And it's gotten a lot of good reviews. So I'm quite excited about this one. So I just wanted to mention it. Evil Hat also does publish Fate. Fate actually is a huge system, and there's a lot of stuff out there for Fate. And there's lots of cool information here on their website. They have some linked videos, and there's just like a huge amount of information. Talking about a lot of information, another site that I wanted to mention is RandyOS. RandyOS has created the Fate SRD website and the Blades in Dark SRD website. I'm going to show you the Fate SRD website because this is just absolutely brilliant. You have all the Fate systems here. So Fate has Fate Core, Fate Accelerated, and Fate Contents. At the moment, we only have Fate Core at Quest Portal, but we are putting in the other ones as well, and also some of the extra stuff. But this website is really cool if you just want to go and kind of navigate the whole Fate SRD and read about it. Randy's just done an absolutely brilliant job. Okay, but now let's go and have a look a little bit at Fate. Okay, Fate. What is Fate? I think usually when I think about Fate, I think about a world, something maybe like Buffy or somewhere where there's a pretty normal world, but with something extra. There's something going on in it, something fantasy or something like that. If you want to play maybe out a blockbuster film or like maybe some kind of adventure or fantasy books that you really wish there was a game system for. Super cool. What I wanted to also show you is that if we have a little look at the game creation, how you set up the problem of the world or the place you're in is here, setting up the big issue. So you decide what the threats and pressures are in the setting. And you can do this actually as a group. So you can come up with 2 issues as a group and write them down on index cards. And these are kind of the aspects of the world. For example, you have the current issue. So these are the things that are currently in the world and are happening and threats and what type of world are we in? And then the impending issues. What is going to happen? Is there going to be some kind of invasion or chaos or a zombie horde or whatnot? So this is kind of a really cool part of the system, I think. And if we look, for example, here, it's even a suggestion that if you're using a setting that already exists from a movie, novel, or the game or book, there are many ideas that you can use. You probably likely add your spin on things, but you can create it the way you want to. Yeah, Fate Core looks amazing, and I really think you'll have fun reading this and looking through this. And of course, you can also check out the Fate SRD website if you just want to read it. But what I think is really great and what I mostly want to show you is how we are going to use it with the assistant. So Quest Portal Pro. This is here just like a general campaign that we have. You can go up here and choose the system that you want to play in. So we're going to have Fate Core. And then I'm going to go into the assistant. And I have been planning on starting a campaign that happens in Iceland. I was going to do Monster of the Week, but I think I'll do Fate now. And this is something that I've wanted to do for a while. So I'm going to ask the assistant, hey, I want to set campaign in Iceland. Let's see what it gives me. Sent a pretty long question to the assistant. There we go. Yes, it wants me to identify the big issue for the setting, which is good. This is what we were talking about before. We were checking it out. Current issue, contaminated water supply in the hospital. This is a problem that already exists and is causing patients to fall ill. Okay. Then the impending issue, you might want to think about threat that is just beginning to emerge. Perhaps there's a powerful corporation that wants to cover up the contamination, or maybe there's a mysterious disease spreading. Okay. Then I want to create some NPCs. Okay, cool. And then think about the story questions for your campaign. Okay. If I do have a look here, it does link me pretty well. It does not always do this, so sometimes you have to download. But here we go. It takes me straight into the setting big issues and tells me what that means, which I'm very happy about. I'm happy about this answer. I'm going to like it. Don't have to write anything necessarily. The impending issue is that people a couple of months after drinking that water are turning into fish monster. We love fish in Iceland, so I think we need to have a fish monster. They do sound a little bit like younglings in Call of Cthulhu. The aquatic transformation plague. People have consumed the contaminated water. Slowly transform urgency. Okay. Very cool. I can think about how these issues affect the world around your characters, any group or individuals who might benefit from the situation. Okay, here we go. The setting big issue and drilling down. I did want to check. They told me about a story question. What type of story question should I have? And here I am not fully sure what they meant about this. Let's see if it can link me directly to what I need to know here or tell me. Or maybe suggest something. I'm assuming that this answer might not be so good, so let's see. Maybe you have to download it. Okay, story questions designed to guide your campaign and provide a roadmap for your scenarios. Ah, interesting. Here's an example based on your campaign, and then it's like reading from this thread here that we're already in. And here we have links to ask story questions. Good. This is actually, I'm pretty happy with this answer too. This is how I would use the assistant for it to give me ideas, to try to lead me through the campaign creation. And of course, like Fate says, you might want to do this also with your players. If you are thinking about writing something on your own, then I have a link here, this Storytelling Collective. They have this really cool RPG workshop. I signed up to this. This is also a Christmas present to myself, and I've really enjoyed it. You have some paths, so First Adventure, General Path, Call of Cthulhu, D&D, and they also have RuneQuest, and RuneQuest is actually coming to Quest Portal very soon. They also have this Bookworms Club where they talk about RPG systems, and they have, here we go, you can see one every month, and this is also very exciting. If I had a little bit more time, I probably would sign up to this, but I just wanted to show you this. I actually did not know what this is. Shift at Hit Point Press. Really like Hit Point Press. Love Humblewood. I'm a big bird fan. But this is something I'm going to have a look at. So yeah, but the last thing I want to show you is that we have the Fate dice. So really what you can just do here, you can do /roll. And I am going to roll six dice that are Fate. So I'm going to put F. Oh, okay. And I have 1, 2, 3 pluses, 2 minuses, so 1. Yeah. And it will show me the result here. All right. You can also put this in a sheet. Let's just go into a new tab here. And then I can either do a / and just choose the roll button. And in here, instead of 20, I'll just do an F. I'm gonna just roll 6 again. I can name this. Should we call them fudge dice or should we call them fate dice? Let's call them fate dice. And dice 6. And then I have a little button here that I can roll my dice. Pretty cool, huh? Really happy about this. We are working on our character sheets, so at the moment these universal character sheets, and you can edit them and put in things, tables, roll buttons. We have some boxes and stuff, and there's some more things coming out, and then we will be focusing on some specific systems and stuff. So that's exciting. I'll bring some news about this soon-ish. Okay, really, I think this is all from me today. Definitely let us know if this is something that is interesting to listen to. Hopefully you can just skip to the sections that you enjoy and want to know more about, and maybe you learned something new. When I watch YouTube videos, I always like to learn about new games and things like that, so I thought I'll try this format for this time. But definitely send us feedback. You can comment down below, and you definitely come and join our Discord server and also let us know there. I love talking about Mausritter, so if you're a huge Mausritter fan, we can start a conversation on there and try to get more people playing. But in general, just go and have an awesome day, and I'll see you next time. Okay, bye.